Do you think we're supposed to sleep in one solid block through the night, like we've been taught? Or do you think we're supposed to sleep more intuitively in segments, also known as segmented sleep or biphasic sleep? What I'm asking is because I actually found a benefit to waking up and going back to bed. For me, it takes me to lucid dreams much easier. It makes astral travel easier, and it makes it easier to connect. I've seen beautiful things manifest in my room that I have no words for. And although that's outside of astral travel and lucid dreaming, because that's stuff I saw with my two eyeballs or heard with my actual ears, but I saw something floating in my room. The object was gold. It had a wheel and a crank, and something I couldn't see was turning the crank. Like an invisible hand or something, I don't know. But the wheel was turning, and as the wheel turned, the whole image rotated at the same time. It was all gold. I could still see it in my head. It was beautiful. And outside of lucid dreaming and astral travel, I've also seen a water being. And I've heard electricity come in and out of my room. It sounds like a popping sound, like a empty water bottle. And to me, those popping sounds felt like something jumped from a different dimension into mine or back out of mine. And in saying this, I remember I was laying in bed and I closed my eyes and I saw an ET, a gray, just staring at me. I was so curious. And I know it was curious because obviously it was staring at me. And I wanted to know what the hell it wanted. And boy, that thing was ugly. I even made a t-shirt and put it on my website. But I think there are different kinds of beings and energies. I believe that, and I always feel that anyways. And this one didn't feel too great, the gray that is. But I was still curious to know what it wanted. I don't know why I opened my eyes, but oh yes, I heard my cat outside. She was trying to get in the room. And then I closed my eyes again, and I saw it again. It was just staring at me. And thinking back on this, I don't even think I was asleep. I think I was in a meditative state. Because my cat would not be outside at night. That's the thing. I closed my eyes again, and I saw it again. And it was just staring at me. It was hovering over me. And I don't know if I was still on my bed or what, but it was just hovering over me. And the cat kept on bothering me, so I ended up getting up. Then I tried to go back into meditation to connect again. It was gone. I wanted to know. I'm very curious. And I know I'm divinely protected, but I'm thinking now that my cat was just trying to protect me because it did not feel too great at all. And me asking more questions because I'm always asking why, I later found out it wanted to figure out why I was doing what I was. Like, who am I? How am I doing this? Who am I? It felt like it was trying to observe me. And that's about it because I don't have a contract with it. So it was only able to watch. Thank goodness. I would not want to be taken by that thing. Looking at it did not feel good. I can only imagine what it would feel like if it took my ass. So yes, for me, segmented sleep actually works. It helps me connect easier. And I have proof. That's all I can say. Proof for myself, that is. And that's probably where the witching hour comes from. Or at least that's what makes me wonder. Because maybe it's easier during those hours for other beings, energies, and dimensions to connect with us. All it is dimensions anyways. That's all it is. Those who transition, the blue avians, ETs, fairies, all of it is just dimensional. You just have to align to the frequency and you'll be able to see it and experience it. I mean, think about it. Not that you were there, but my mom, she's a medium and she can see a lot of things. I see a lot of things, but it's in my mind's eye. She can see it with her eyeballs, much more than me, those who transition anyways. I see outwardly beings, like the blue avians, the DNA strand, but she can see people coming out of the wall. Yeah. And she saw somebody put their hand through the wall and wave at her. Another time, she saw a woman peeking around the corner of the wall in the hallway. And when she noticed that person left. They went back into the wall. Another time, she saw somebody running from the living room, from the dining room into the kitchen. Like, they didn't want to be seen. They knew that she saw them. And I actually talk about this in a dream, about a dream anyways, if you want to check it out. Type in others and it may pop up, how I met those from beyond. And another, it talks about, there was a guy named Locks, I call him Locks because of his hair, and the other guy that was with him got scared when I popped up in their dimension. And they confirmed to me what I was already knowing to be my truth, as I have clear cognizance. It's just all dimensions. And aligning to the frequency and you'll be able to see it. It makes you think about babies, right? How they're always waking up. And if you really think about it, it makes you sad because those poor babies are waking up and listening to their bodies, and their bodies are talking to them. They're following their intuition, their own rhythm. And here we are getting frustrated and trying to force them into this perfect adult schedule. Like they're supposed to sleep the whole night just because we're taught that's what good sleep is. And it's probably not even the right thing to do. And of course, I'm not talking about ignoring safe sleep, feeding, medical needs, or a baby's health. I'm talking about how natural it is for the babies to wake. And what if you weren't even tired and somebody was trying to make you go back to bed? That shit is frustrating. Man, really think about it. Maybe that's part of why they cry so hard sometimes. Their bodies are talking, but the world is trying to put them on a clock. And I have a whole theory of why we were put on this schedule. Goodness, that's a whole different podcast right there. But the reason why I also say this is because some people wake up in the middle of the night and then they go back to bed and they think something's wrong with them. And maybe something is medically wrong. So yes, please rule that out. I'm not here to give advice or anything like that. I just like to talk a lot. Make sure you are safe. And for myself, anyhow, I suffer from insomnia really bad. Obviously, I wake up all the time, but now I use it to my advantage. You have to flip it, man. You have to flip everything. Flip a negative into a positive. What can you make out of it? What can you take from it? What can you learn from it? How can you teach others what your experience is? So when I wake up and go back to bed, I have these beautiful travels. And in doing more digging about segment sleeps, I found out that in the pre-industrial Europe, people spoke about first sleep and second sleep. And this is not just some theory people made up online. There's a historian, A. Roger Eckrich, who wrote about this. From what I read, he found references in old diaries, court records, medical writings, literature, and other texts. So yes, people really did describe sleep in two parts. But I also want to make it clear that does not prove every person everywhere slept that way, and it does not prove everybody should sleep this way. And it definitely does not prove that Jesus himself slept this way. We don't have that kind of personal evidence anyways. At least I don't. Maybe I should ask him. I mean, I did see him twice. That would be so funny though. Meeting up with him again and saying, yeah, Jesus, did you sleep in 2 segments? I'm just guessing he did. I feel he did anyways. But again, that's my feeling, it's not proof. But what I can say is that more and more people are starting to question sleep. More people are starting to sleep intuitively, and we are directly interconnected to Jesus anyways, and to each other. Your body's always talking to you, and start listening to that shit if you can. And I say if you can because sometimes you have work schedules. Sometimes you feel like you don't have control over that. But I also feel like the 3D version of you probably thinks you don't. Historians still debate how widespread it actually was and whether it was truly the default for everyone. So if you wake up in the middle of the night, understand this. It does not automatically mean your body is malfunctioning or you're sick. It does not automatically mean that something's wrong with you. And again, go to a doctor to eliminate medical stuff first because you want to be safe. But I really feel that for the most part, we've been lied to about what sleep is supposed to look like. I feel like we're supposed to sleep intuitively, follow the body, listen to the body. But all these clocks, artificial lights, work schedule, phones, and all this shit kind of messed up the body. Didn't they? Just a little bit? No, it messed up a lot. People are way out of balance. And when I say sleep intuitively, I don't mean everyone's going to be on the exact same schedule. Some people may sleep 8 hours and never wake up in segments, and that's okay too. It's not the same for everyone. But I do have a theory. I feel that when people start having a spiritual awakening, when their body starts being activated, DNA remembrance and all, some of them start sleeping in segments. And that's where insomnia can come in, when the body starts opening. And then the mind or the 3D life starts fighting it. That's when it can be unbearable. And my insomnia actually began in the military, and it was horrific. It actually assisted in me getting out of the military. It was really bad, really bad. It led me to get sick, and it could break you down. It could probably kill you. I mean, lack of sleep can kill you, really think about it. But with all this information, I had to do some more digging because I wanted something concrete. And I did find something interesting that was a study by Thomas Wehr, W-E-H-R, where people spent long periods of time in darkness, more similar to pre-electric conditions. And after some time, many of them started sleeping in two chunks, with a quiet waking period in the middle that could last around 1 to 3 hours. And that is pretty much how I experience it. And this is important to me because it shows the body is capable of doing this naturally under certain conditions. The body has its own intelligence. The body is always talking to you. The study does not prove segmented sleep is better for everyone. Modern sleep science does not show strong proof that breaking up nighttime sleep into segment chunks is healthier than consolidated sleep for every person. And if sleep becomes too fragmented, it can be connected to poor mood, worse focus, and lower sleep quality. That's probably why it sucks to have a job that's a 9 to 5 or any work schedule and you can't just follow your intuition. So again, I'm not saying everyone has to sleep in segments. I'm just saying listen to your body. If you can, if you're able anyways. Some people intuitively wake up and that waking period is part of their sleep rhythm. Other people sleep 10 to 12 hours and that may be their body talking too. When I first started waking up spiritually and seeing different things, I wanted people to do the same as I was doing. I thought everyone was waking up. Wrong. Wrong. Even if you meet somebody who is spiritually awakened, they're not going to be the same path as you are. They're not going to know the same things as you do. And that's something I had to learn. Because everybody's on a different journey. Everybody's body opens up differently. Everybody's intuition speaks differently. And I do think the shift into one solid block of sleep probably became stronger around the 18th and 19th century. As artificial lighting spread, cities stayed active later in the night, and industrial work schedules began shaping life. It's all by design. The world just got louder, and clocks got louder, and the body got quieter. It forgot. Again, I think all this stuff is done on purpose, but that's just my own thoughts there. Because if you really think about it, the middle of the night has often been understood as sacred. Time feels like it stands still. It's quiet. It's for meditation, prayer, reflection, clarity. Christian traditions, people kept night vigils, and in other traditions too. Waking in the night was sometimes seen as sacred opening, a time when the world was quieter and the mind was less scattered. And then there's the witching hour. Look that one up. And I don't know if you listened to the podcast I had with Barbara Banner. She's a psychic. She speaks to those who transition and get notified by those who transition. And it happens during weird hours, which makes sense because I also get messages as a medium around the same time, between 1 and 3. Sometimes it's random beings. I don't even know who they are. I don't even know their names. And some of them were people in this life, and some of them are beyond the 9th dimension. Because I freaking love it. And before I forget, this is what I do. It's called the WBTB. Look it up. It's called the Wake Back to Bed. And I didn't even know what I was doing had a name. I just knew I was doing this thing, and I didn't know what it came from or why it was. I didn't even know it was a thing. And that's what's beautiful about it. Once you start reading books, you get confirmation of the shit you already do. And this is one of the ways you can confirm your clairvoyant or any kind of clairs you have, any kind of ability. If you're getting messages, you may have come across people who said you were weird because you were doing things like this. I have a lot of books I've yet to even read because I don't want it to pollute the information that comes to me. I want it to come organically, and then I read the books when I'm guided, and it confirms everything. You just know it to be your truth. But with WBTB, the basic idea is that you sleep for several hours. You wake up for a short period of time, and then you go back to bed with intention. And for me, it just works. It works so well. I wake up automatically. I've been doing this for a long time. I don't even need an alarm. But you can set an alarm if that works for you. In between, what I do is I read a book or do something around the house, or I may even watch a documentary. meditate, or just sit with myself. Then, when I start getting sleepy again, I go back to bed with intention. And one of the things you can do is intentionally think about raising the vibration of the planet. You could think about the things that I talk about on the previous podcast right before this one, on how we can uplift the frequencies, called the energy shift, how intention and visualization alter energy, and in continuation. Because that middle space between first sleep and second sleep, between waking and dreaming, between this dimension and another one, that space is powerful. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe we're never meant to sleep as just shutting off. Maybe sleep is a doorway. Maybe waking up in the night is not always a problem. Maybe sometimes it's just an invitation. As I feel we're always awake and we're always sleeping anyways. And energy is one big mush. And again, I'm going to say this. When you start having a spiritual awakening, your sleeping patterns are going to change. They're going to change. I will link in the description the podcast that talks about signs and symptoms that may happen during your spiritual awakening. I wrote that years ago. It was during my last spiritual awakening, because you're going to have more than one, but one of them's going to hit so damn hard. And that's where you go through dark night of the soul again. And the one that hits hardest is when your frequency rises so high. Holding electronics hurts sometimes. Listening to music that you always listen to, it hurts your body. You can't even go into a club anymore or a bar because the music hurts you. Or you may smell energy and it stinks. But again, listen to your body. Rule out medical stuff. Don't force it. Don't make your journey everybody else's journey. Because when you start waking up, at least in the woke stage, you tell everybody what's going on. Then when you have a spiritual awakening, you continue that a little bit, but you learn that you're not here to save anybody. You are here to be authentic and give messages if that comes to you, because everybody is playing a part, for the collective anyways. Just pay attention. Your body's always talking to you. And if this has helped you, go ahead and check out the websites in the description below. And to all women, I'm starting a circle for women for meditation. It's just 1 minute a day. And if you would like to join, go ahead, go to the description and go to the email, and in the subject line, type in circle. I will be happy to connect with you to give you more details, because you are the answer to all you seek, and you are the manifesting tool. DNA remembrance is a real thing. Take back your power. And remember to journal. And if you like, check out the journals that are available. There's a lot of them. And until next time, thank you and have a beautiful, beautiful experience.